So, questions? Oh, I see one there. Right, yeah. Great movie, by the way. Wonderful. It seemed like the music played a big role. There was that scene where the sisters were kind of, preparing their relationship, and there was like maybe one word of dialogue. So a lot of the music. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like how you decide, how it played out. Yeah, the music was written by Vinnie Smith, who's also my sound designer and was our boom operator on set. He's been working with me since my very first feature. This was my fourth. And he started composing for me with Hump Day, my feature before this. And I thought he killed it with this one. That montage was like a 6.5 or 7 minute montage, and it was really dependent on the music. My editor, Nat Sanders, and I tried to get temp music. We just had temporary songs in there, and we never could make it work. And we'd show test audiences, and they'd say, it's kind of still, I don't know, I think it might work, but it really depends on the music. And it was just a real collaborative effort, but he was the one who really made it work. So I'm always happy to hear people appreciate it, because I appreciate it as well. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes. Maria.
We'll bring it to you. There you go. Down the
Thanks.
left.
Hi, great movie. And Emily, I'm such a huge fan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that was such a treat. My question is for you, Emily. As the character, what did you want the outcome to be?
Oh, at the very end.
Yes.
It's funny, I feel like if it was my sister, she'd probably be impaled to that wall right now. But she knows better, I don't know, I think that's what was so great about the film, that I think all of us actually felt quite complex feelings, even watching it for the first time, about what we felt and what the characters might feel. And I think that's the beauty of it, because I think it's not going to be an easy road ahead for all three of them if there is a pregnancy, and probably not going to be easy if there isn't either. And so I think but there's a willingness to make a positive end for all of this, and I think that is very true to life when it comes to family, because they absolutely crush your heart. My family just crushes my heart, and I would do anything for them. And so I have the hope that she's pregnant, even though I'd still want to impale her.
Go to the front, stand up, and get to the microphone so the rest of the theater can hear.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm here with my sister.
And she's pregnant with your...
And the dialogue was just so much fun, and I was just curious. It was so entertaining and so much fun, and I was just curious, was there room and freedom for improvisation? And I was just curious the process.
Well, I'll let you start.
Yeah, we had a 70-page sort of scriptment. My last film, Hump Day, was completely improvised. It was a 10-page outline with no dialogue written at all. And because Emily and Rose weren't veteran improvisers like Mark Duplass is a veteran improviser and does it on this TV show called The League, and has done it in movies a lot. But with these gals, I just didn't want them to feel like they didn't have a safety net of some kind. So I had a lot of the scenes written out, but it was always clear that they were just to take the lines that they liked and leave the rest behind. It was always, they should just feel free to just fly off the script. And we had 2 cameras, and so they could do that, and they most often did.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to read the sort of outlines for the scenes and some of the dialogue beforehand, but I never learnt any lines. It was more just to get the gist of what was happening. And then on the day, it was an amazingly exhilarating, but also sometimes exhausting process to be given such free rein. Because it's astonishing to be, I've never done it quite like this, where you're writing in your head and it's falling out of your mouth and it's on camera and you're like, it's like, oh my God, was that terrible? But I think that the beauty of it is you get these golden, spontaneous moments. And I think when it comes to sisterly relationship, I have sisters, Rose has sisters, she has best friends, and she came onto the movie just so late, like a complete rock star hero, and just opened herself up to the process. And we were like, this is what we feel about the character, what's whatever you want. And we shared stories, and she and I sat up late into the night drinking wine, saying, this is what happened with my sister, what do you think of this, and we can put this in, and this, and this. And it was just, it's the most personal film I've ever done, for sure. I think for all of us, because everything that we've been through ends up on the screen in some way, you know.
Yeah, Rose, I should just say, Rose came in 3 days before we started shooting. We lost another actress. And, I mean, she saved the film. We wouldn't have been able to make it without her, so we're very grateful to her for that.
We have a question right there. Stand up. There you go, to your left.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to say that this was a very unique comedy, and it was played out very well. And Emily, I've noticed that you've been in many comedies, but also different kinds, whether it's Hollywood or independent. I'm wondering what kind of comedy you prefer.
Which one do I prefer?
To be more crazy, zany, funny, or more natural.
I like it all.
funny?
I mean, I like comedy that has such poignancy to it, but I like candy too. You know, it's all right to like it all. And so I think even at this festival, I have this movie called 5 Year Engagement here, which played last night, and that's, did you see it? Which is really bawdy and really funny and out there, and this felt incredibly poignant. And I think what you laugh at is what you recognize in yourself. You know, that the awkward ways that the tables turn on these characters. I mean, I think that it was played so for real. That I think that kind of comedy for me is really appealing, because I think that's what we laugh at in life, is what we've been through in some way.
Yeah, this and Sunshine Cleaning was very funny.
Thank you.
Every kind of humor.
It was fun, yeah, it was very funny. Thank you.
Right there. Stand up. Right in the mezzanine. There we go.
Good evening. Thank you. That was a wonderful picture. What advice would you give a filmmaker that's going in without a script, with an outline, a 10-page outline, versus having a 7-page script? Any advice?
Cast the right people who can handle it. What advice would I give a director who's going in with a 10-page outline as opposed to? I'm sorry,
That's the question. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What advice would you give to a director going in with a 10-page outline versus having a 7-page script?
Have you got a 10-page outline?
Is that what you're talking
10-page outline. That's correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, it really is. I mean, the 10-page outline film was made with two. A guy who was in Blair Witch, one of the first improvisatory films that really hit it big, Josh Leonard and Mark Duplass, who both were extremely, that was their comfort zone. That's sort of where they're at their best, I think, frankly, is improvising. And then, so backstory is enormously helpful, I think. Really understanding who these characters are. I mean, so that the actors really understand who they are and what's happened with the other person in the scene right up to the minute of this scene.
Because we spoke with this process, we spoke for nearly a year on the phone before we shot it, just talking over backstory and character and what would you do, and so we'd been speaking to each other for a long time trying to figure out who these people are and what their relationships were, so that was vital for me personally, to turn up on the day and have a history that I understood, that I could grasp.
Then it's when you open your mouth, it's like second nature what's going to come out, you know, as opposed to just being frozen. So that's really, really helpful. I also, I was an editor by trade before I became a director, so it's really helpful for me. I don't know if I could work this way if I hadn't had that background, because I sort of have a clock in my head that's ticking and going, okay, there's a little voice that says, okay, now you have everything that you need. It's in there somewhere. Because the editing is a huge, huge, huge part of the writing process. I mean, these takes sometimes will go on for twice as long as they end up in the movie, and my editor and I will go and sharpen it, you know, and take out all the... And developing trust with the actors, so they know that they can just risk everything and fail, and I'm not going to let it show up on screen. You know, I'm only going to show the good stuff. So, but then putting the actors at ease, I try to create a place of emotional safety for them so they really feel at ease and like they can take that risk. Is there anything else you'd recommend for him?
You said it. I think with the nature of the film that you're trying to do, which is improv, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Largely.
the interesting thing is there is emotional connectivity, there is emotional comfort, because it grew out of a scripted improv. So
collaboration with the actors, inviting them into the process of creating the backstory and stuff is extremely
Because you can't
helpful.
just throw people in a room and say, okay, do it, you know, and so, because that's just hopeless and you'll never get anything.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, our director is an editor, so.
Oh,
There you
Well,
go.
good. That's going to be helpful.
You're
Yeah.
gonna be great.
Fine.
I think we have time for one more question. This lady right there to your left, stand up. There you go.
Hi guys. Hi. I really enjoyed the film.
Thank you.
I just had 3 quick questions. How long ago did you?
That's not meant
How long ago did you film? Where was the location? And how long was the shoot?
Oh, well, that is easy. How long ago? It was November of 2010, and we shot for, it was a 12-day shoot. Yes, a little bit tight. And what was the last? Oh yeah, and it was in the San Juan Islands of beautiful Washington State. Come to Washington State and make movies. In our lovely, we have an incentive. Oh, so does New York. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So it was in the San Juan Islands.
Well, that was
One
a quick
more.
one. I have one more final.
Sorry guys. Lynn, love the film, fantastic, and Emily, I always love all your work, and I saw you last night also, so fantastic. I had a quick question sort of related to what she just asked. What was your shooting ratio? I'm so curious because you have 2 cameras, and since you work like this historically as a filmmaker, I'd love to know.
Yeah, not really that bad. The shooting ratio is how much footage did we shoot compared to how long the end result ended up being, and a lot of times it ends up, it's like, you'll hear 100, 200 hours, you know. And this was more like 25, 30 hours to a 90, and it's exactly 90 minutes. So yeah, really not that, I mean, we only had 12 days, so it wasn't like we had that much time to just take after take after take. Yeah, so that helped keep it succinct.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
With that, thank you.